When minutes can mean the difference between life and death, the last thing you want is a train blocking your path to the hospital.
But paramedics in the Western Suburbs say it happens to them all the time. As Larry Ellen shows us, we caught one ambulance going around the gates.
Danger, another train coming. Danger.
Drivers stuck at a railroad crossing in downtown Winfield. One of the vehicles in line, an ambulance with a stroke victim headed for Central DuPage Hospital. Paramedic Bryan Edgett was in the back of that ambulance.
It's just frustrating. You know you have to get there. You're trying to do what's best for the patient, and every minute lost could have negative consequences on the patient's outcome.
Eventually, the crossing clears. The ambulance heads for the hospital. The patient survives.
At least a few times a week we're getting stuck by trains trying to get across. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 plus.
Retired Winfield Fire Chief John Karwoski agrees.
We've seen them a lot. We sit here in the morning, there's a few of us that have a coffee and we talk, and we'll see the ambulances are held up before they get to the hospital here.
Here's why the paramedics are so frustrated. Central DuPage Hospital is just north of that crossing. Paramedics stuck on the south side know they're just a block from the hospital, but can't get there. There is an alternative, using an underpass at County Farm Road, but that can add time.
The only way around takes another 10 minutes. Just kind of a gamble if we're going to wait for the train or try to go around.
Edgett says he'd never go around the gates, but not all paramedics are so patient. Watch as a First Care ambulance runs the gates at Winfield Road. First Care says it was an isolated incident that the paramedics felt was necessary. Winfield's own first responders get frustrated too.
Minutes count. So when we're sitting there for 2, 3, 4 minutes, it's very frustrating.
Deputy Chief Brian Lewis says they sometimes get delayed not once but twice. Their fire station is just north of the tracks, but more than 30% of their calls are on the south side. They get blocked heading south and then coming back north. Paramedics call it getting trained. Firemen and paramedics here in Winfield say the trains are getting longer and running more often. And that means they're getting trained more than ever before. Lewis says on a typical weekday, 180 trains pass through Winfield, and the freight trains, he says, sometimes just park at the crossing instead of rolling on through.
I can't believe how long these trains are. It's ridiculous.
Lewis says a partial solution lies in passing a referendum to reopen a shuttered fire station on the south side of town. The Union Pacific Railroad says paramedics can call the railroad when crossings are blocked for long periods of time.
But we did not know that was even a possibility.
The railroad says Winfield's paramedics have called 6 times this year when trains were blocking the crossing for 10 minutes or more. Larry Ellen, Fox 32 News.